the Astrodome.
Yep.
You had the Kingdome in Seattle.
Yeah.
Everybody was doing that. You know,
Yep.
these multi-sport stadiums.
Toronto had one too.
Toronto had, they had
Skydome.
Skydome, which is still there. Yeah. But everybody was doing the exact same thing. But now we have, I think people are more like, hey, every sport needs a stadium. Could you imagine if the Wills has gotten their way and gotten MLS into U.S. Bank Stadium? I mean, think about that for a second. It would have been shit.
I know that the Blanks got that down in Atlanta.
Yeah,
but yeah, you know, it's just
you don't want soccer in a
I went to
stadium.
Chelsea, AC Milan there.
Yeah,
and it was just like this void of reverberated sound. And
well, speaking of that, they're doing it's AC Milan versus Spurs at US Bank Stadium.
Yep.
Which I want to go to, but it's going to be indoors at US. I don't think I want to see a soccer game indoors.
As a Chelsea supporter, I can't go. I can't spend money on a Spurs game.
Why? Why can't you?
Because it's
international soccer.
It doesn't matter if you're a fan of a team in London.
Yeah.
You cannot spend money on another team in London.
Nobody would know
unless they're playing your team.
Nobody would know.
You
would know. Yeah, you feel bad about it.
Yeah. Spurs are shit.
Whoa,
that's the way it goes.
Wow,
Spurs are shit.
Oh, okay. I won't go probably because it's indoors and it's at US Bank Stadium, and I love US Bank Stadium for Vikings games, but for a soccer game, I'm just not into it. You know,
and I mean, I wouldn't recommend it to anyone unless they just wanted to go for the experience of seeing it.
Now, when they did a couple years ago, they did the one at TCF Bank Stadium, and they did the Loons game afterward. Well, it wasn't Loons. It was.
What was that?
It was. Dave, do you know who that was? Remember that game we went to?
Yeah, it was Man City.
Man City and
a Greek team.
A Greek team. It was I can't think of the name.
Olympiacos?
Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
And they played there, and that was nice because outdoors. But they almost did not play that game because they didn't like the turf.
Oh, sure.
They were upset about the whole turf thing.
Yeah, Europeans don't like turf.
And they don't like that. Well, they had put grass in the field before, and they said, well, there's too many, divots in the grass or whatever it was. But that was fantastic. I mean, you're seeing two teams from Europe play outdoors, and it was a great time. And then you got to see the Loons play afterwards when they were in the NASL, which was fun. I just can't go see some international teams like indoors. I just can't do it, Yeah. And I'd hope that next year, if they come around with the International Cup again, they would play at Allianz Field. They would not play at US Bank. But I also think that the Wilfs have some sort of deal where they get to have so many soccer games at US Bank. I think that was one of the parts of the deal they made with MLS.
Yeah, well, in the International Cup is all about ticket money.
Of course it is.
And so you want to play at the stadium that has the most seats. Mm-hmm. And so US Bank makes sense.
It does make sense. But again, for us hardcore, I'm not really hardcore, but I mean for us big fans of soccer, I don't want to see an indoor game. I just don't.
Yeah. And in Europe, they don't have indoor stadiums, obviously because their environment doesn't require it at all. So it is what it is. I'm not a fan of indoor stadiums.
No, it's like I said, I've been to Kansas City Stadium, I've been to Chicago Stadium. Both those stadiums are outdoors. Kansas City Stadium is fantastic. Chicago Stadium is in a bad location, and it's not the best stadium in the world.
It would have been nice when it was built, but yeah.
Yeah, and again, Chicago has a problem because they are in a really bad part of Chicago.
Right.
The fact that you get on the tram, you take the tram all the way down, right, or the L as they call it.
Yeah.
And then they get off the L and they have buses out there that bus you to the stadium because they don't want you walking through that area. That tells me that's a bad area to be in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's right by Midway Airport.
Yeah.
And it's not a good place to be. Whereas Allianz Stadium is going to be right in the middle of St. Paul and, it's more in St. Paul than Minneapolis, but it's right there in the middle. Yep. And it's right off of 94. It's in a great location. There's a lot of stuff going on around there. You don't have to worry about safety going to a game there.
Hopefully not.
It's going to be. You shouldn't have to. It's not like it's not North Minneapolis, dude.
Or Midway side of Chicago.
Well, exactly right. I mean, so you have to. It's going to be a great location. KC again is in a location that's not crime ridden, but it's outside of Kansas City by about 30 minutes.
Right.
So, I mean, it's not a great – it's okay, but it's not a great location. Allianz Field is going to be in a great location. I mean, for soccer fans here in Minneapolis.
Yeah, we had talked about this, I think last episode, right?
Yeah.
And I think I mentioned it. When John and I went down there for a game last season, we decided to go downtown because I'm a Jurassic Park fan.
Yeah.
And the Field Museum had the Jurassic World exhibition. So I forced John to go with me.
Of course he did.
And
he went willingly.
Oh, I'm sure he did. And we had to get to – so we were at the hotels that are at Midway.
Yeah.
Even though they're not really at Midway. They're like a mile and a half away. And we missed the bus to go to the airport.
Yeah.
So we walked there.
Yeah.
And I rarely feel uncomfortable in walking anywhere. But walking through that area, Chicago,
no,
it's kind of. I mean, everything's run down, and the sidewalks are shitty, and I mean, you've got 6 lanes of traffic flying at 45, 50 miles an hour, and they're literally like right there. You know what I mean, you step off the sidewalk and you get plowed over by 10 cars. And it's just a bad area.
I've never felt more like unsafe than the bus ride from the last L to the stadium. For me, it was like, if you're gonna put buses out here, that means that they don't want you walking, and that's just a bad deal for me.
Yeah,
and the stadium is in the middle of nowhere. I mean, it just really is. So what the United are doing right now, I mean, that's a fantastic spot to be in.
I agree.
Yeah. So we talked about a lot of stuff in this podcast. Anything else you want to bring up, Dave? Any kind of
so the MLS app.
Oh yes, we want to bring that up.
Yeah. So the Major League Soccer changed their app just this week, and it's the shittiest thing ever. You guys got to change it back. I mean, who creates an app that's for tracking sports that doesn't have a box score? It doesn't make any sense. I mean, and then on top of that, it's super cumbersome. Like if I go to it right now and open it up, it takes it right there. It finally loaded, and then it gives me this home screen that has Minnesota up on top. The news that's on the home screen is really kind of dumb. It's not even. There's an instant analysis of Red Bull's win.
Yeah.
Completely irrelevant to anything I want to see. Oh, there is a take tour inside of Minnesota's Allianz Field.
Wow, 50% done.
But other than that, it's just like, what the hell are you doing? And you click on the Minnesota tab, and it's all news. So then you have to go. I don't even know what the hell.
It's
do you
terrible
have to do?
app.
Yeah, it's just a bad app.
So because Dave Stevens is here, and Dave Stevens you have the MLB app, don't you, Dave?
I do, yeah.
So compare the MLB app to the MLS app. I mean, is it like the MLB app is better than the MLS app or not?
Night and day.
Night and day.
I use the MLB app all the time. I love it. It's just unbelievable. And whereas I'm actually just trying to use the MLS app just right now as Dave's talking about it.
Yeah.
And it literally froze on me.
Yeah.
Did it really?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm not kidding.
And the MLB app, Dave, do they still MLB app? Do they still have the thing where if you go to a different stadium, you get like a free?
It's a check-in. That's a separate app.
But they do have something like that.
But
yeah.
You talk about a box score. That's the first thing I see.
Yeah.
I can see, what's the score?
Exactly. Yeah.
But yeah, the MLS couldn't be more difficult.
MLS app before this, was there an update now that they did that screwed everything up or what?
Well, I mean, they literally just changed the entire layout. Okay. So, and I think this was Thursday that they did it. Maybe it was even Friday. For whatever reason, they decided it needed a redesign.
Well, it sucks then.
And I'm trying to see if there's no active games right now.
And this is what, the funny thing is, like, MLS app should be the one everybody goes to look at scores and whatever. Because ESPN sucks at soccer
and
coverage.
They hate Major League Soccer.
And they hate Major League Soccer anyway. So nobody's going to ESPN for Major League Soccer. So MLS should have a great app that does everything that ESPN doesn't do. And if you screw the app up, you're going to piss off all the fans.
Yeah, and it's funny because if you want scores, you have to touch down on the bottom. Mm-hmm. If you want your team, you touch up at the top. Mm-hmm. And then when it gets to the home screen of the team, it's just news. So then you have to touch down at the bottom to get scores, and it immediately goes to all scores. So then you have to reselect your own team to get your team scores. And you have to select the past game, to actually get all stat.
Why do companies do this shit? Why do they try to make things better and they make things worse?
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't get it. I don't understand.
Yeah, they screwed up on it.
So they screwed up on it. So there's probably going to be another update that unscrews everything they did. Potentially.
If they care.
Does
Yeah.
MLS care enough about us on doing the apps? Does they give a shit?
I doubt it.
Because you don't have to pay for the app, right?
No.
It's free. So they don't care. They don't give a shit.
I saw one person, in fact, I think it was Jamie Watson, I think, on Twitter, who said that they should bring back the box score.
Jamie Watson, the sideline reporter for the United.
I could be wrong about that. I apologize if I am, but I think it was. It was last night.
Jamie played for us in the NASL, right?
Yes.
Yes, I remember that.
And he still shows his moves every now and then. In fact,
he's a young enough guy.
He makes Major League Soccer highlights.
What?
Because he randomly, I think at least twice, maybe 3 times this year, has had a ball come at him on the sideline, and he manages to jockey it. And
how old do you think he is? Is he 30? He can't be older than 30, can he be?
I don't know. He's younger than I am.
He could still play.
Well, he's younger than all of us.
He could still play.
He probably could.
Could he play defense?
He's 5'5".
Okay, but he's better than anybody else we have?
No, I don't think so. No offense to Jamie. But
he's 5'5", really?
No, he's super short.
Really?
I never realized how short he was.
He's shorter than me?
He stands next to Adrian Heath, and he's shorter than him.
Really? He's shorter than Adrian? Well, I suppose.
I mean, I don't know. 5'5" is an exaggeration, but he's not a tall guy.
He's got the hair thing going, though.
Yeah.
He's got the good
hair. I actually cut my hair to be more like Jamie Watson.
Really? Oh, wow. Are you going to try out for the sideline reportership next year?
No.
No
one wants to hear me talk.
Well, people do, because they do download the podcasts. I mean,
maybe they're
some
probably
people
listening
like
to you. They're probably.
I don't think they listen to me as much as they listen to you. You're more the insight guy. I'm just here to kind of keep things rolling along and rant about stupid shit. I mean,
I rant a lot. Maybe it's not stupid shit, but I rant.
You rant. You were trying to rant yesterday about the Miller situation, and I kind of shut you down a little bit. I was like, "Yeah, come on, give him one game."
I'm trying to stay very silent about Miller because I know that I'm very biased right now.
Yeah, well, you kind of got that thing where you kind of go over the cliff on some things, and I kind of try to bring you back and say, let's just give it one more game and decide. Kind of like the process of the United. Let's let it play out a little bit before we go over the cliff. Okay,
we were over the cliff
let's just go. No, let's let it play out a little bit, and then we'll go over the cliff together. That's what.
Yeah, that's how I roll. Mm-hmm. That's how I roll.
We'll go over the cliff together like Thelma and Louise. We'll hold hands in the convertible, going over the cliff. Like, that was too far. Right. I'm sorry, that's way too far.
That was probably.
And people listening probably don't even know what Thelma and Louise is. So, well, Tom does because he's old enough.
Really? I mean, do you really think that there are people
that don't know Thelma and Louise?
I mean, unless they're under 20.
No, it's got to be. You got to be under 30 or 35. So? Yeah, Thelma and Louise was a long time ago.
I watched Tin Cup yesterday. Thought it was great.
Yeah, he watched Tin Cup. Yeah,
it is pretty good.
That's a good movie. But Thelma and Louise that's old. That's old school.
It is.
I'm going back in time here. I mean, I brought up Jordan and Pippen, and I got a feeling that most people under the age of 30 don't know what Jordan and Pippen did.
Well, they'll know Jordan because of the shoe.
Well, they know
They
Jordan.
won't have any idea who Pippen is.
They don't know who Pippen is. Yeah. And when I was bringing up, the past podcast about Schuler, which we didn't bring up today because Schuler's actually been pretty decent.
Speaking of which, he's been pretty decent, right?
Pretty decent. He hasn't done any Wally Zerbiaks.
You've been his biggest enemy.
Well, I'm telling you, and we'll say it again. It's Tom knows about Wally Zerbiak, don't you, Tom?
Oh,
and Dave Stevens knows about Wally Zerbiak. Remember when Wally Zerbiak, he'd go driving in the lane and he'd bounce the ball super high and then he'd give it the ball. That's exactly what Schuler was doing in a couple games, and young people wouldn't even realize that's what. But Wally Serbiak used to do the exact same thing, and I always get pissed off about it because I'm like, you don't go in the lane.